Hey there, and welcome to today's explainer of some truly fascinating source material. Today, we're unpacking a massive paradigm shift around a question we've all asked ourselves. Why is it so incredibly hard to maintain our health goals? I mean, if you've ever started a new diet or workout routine on a Monday, just absolutely pumped, full of conviction, only to watch the whole shebang completely fall apart by Thursday night, well, you are definitely not alone. And more importantly, it's not your fault. We tend to carry around so much heavy guilt when these things collapse, right? We just tell ourselves we didn't want it badly enough. But today, we're going to actually explore the real mechanics of human behavior together. So get ready to finally drop that guilt.
Okay, let's dive into this. You don't lack discipline. You lack a system that doesn't depend on discipline. Wow. For years, the fitness and wellness industries have essentially sold us this idea that success is purely a matter of grit. But this quote completely flips the script. It immediately disarms that heavy guilt we drag around. Think about it. If your health plan crumbled, it wasn't because you were weak. It definitely wasn't because you lacked some magical inner drive that other successful people just naturally possess. No, it simply means you were relying on the wrong tool for the job. You were banking on raw discipline rather than a structured system.
So if we aren't failing because we're inherently lazy, we have to ask ourselves, why do we really fail at health goals? I want you to think about that very specific, kind of awful feeling of staring at your packed gym bag by the door at, say, 7 p.m., sighing super deeply, and just choosing the couch instead. What actually happened in your brain in those moments right before you gave up? Well, to figure that out, we need to transition our thinking away from this toxic myth of laziness and start looking at the actual underlying mechanics of why traditional health plans fall apart. There's a fundamental structural flaw in how we've been taught to approach our well-being, and identifying that flaw is step one to finally succeeding.
Which brings us to Section 1, the myth of discipline. Relying on pure discipline is essentially a trap that sets us up to fail right from the start.
You see, traditional health plans rely almost entirely on willpower, but our source material radically redefines what willpower actually is. It's not a fixed personality trait, and it's certainly not a measure of your moral character. Actually, it's a limited resource. You kind of have to think of it less like an inner fire that burns bright and more like a daily battery. Surprisingly, the studies show we make thousands of decisions every single day, and every single one of them, from resisting a donut in the break room to drafting a highly diplomatic email to a difficult coworker, drains that battery. Your willpower is a finite resource, and it's heavily influenced by how rested you are and how stressed you are.
Moving right along to Section 2, why willpower fails you. Let's look at exactly how this battery depletes and wrecks our best intentions.
And this brilliantly illustrates exactly what happens to that battery throughout the day. Notice how the morning and rested bar absolutely towers over the other one? When you wake up, you've slept, you're refreshed, and you are ready to conquer the world. But as the day drags on, as you deal with bad traffic, endless meetings, and just the general friction of daily life, that battery plummets. By the time you're stressed and tired, the internal resource you need to make a good health decision is, mathematically speaking, just gone. Relying on willpower to make a great choice at 6 p.m. after a chaotic workday is simply a losing game.
This leads us to a truly critical realization. Health plans fail because they have only one setting: perfect conditions. Think about that for a second. If your health routine relies on you being fully rested, entirely stress-free, and highly motivated, well, it was built for a fantasy world. Let's be real, those perfect days happen maybe twice a year. A plan built for perfect conditions will inevitably shatter on a chaotic, rainy Tuesday when you're literally just trying to survive until bedtime. So it is the plan's fatal flaw, not your laziness.
So, what's the fix? That brings us to Section 3, systems over willpower. This is where things get really empowering. Let's compare the two approaches side by side. The old way is utterly exhausting. It involves deciding every single day whether to exercise or eat healthy. That requires spending your precious, limited willpower battery on the decision-making process alone. Now consider the sheer relief of the system way. A system completely removes the decision from the equation. You achieve this by tying the action to an automatic habit or by prepping in advance. You aren't consciously choosing to do the healthy thing anymore. The healthy thing is just what happens next. It protects you from your own tired brain. You trade that exhausting daily internal debate for the seamless comfort of an automatic process.
Now, what's really interesting about this slide is how incredibly simple these systems actually look in practice. We aren't talking about complex, color-coded spreadsheets here. Instead of debating when to work out, you create a simple system. You walk for 10 minutes right after you brush your teeth in the morning, every single day. No decision involved. Brushing your teeth already happens automatically, so you are simply attaching the new habit to it. Or, Instead of agonizing over a healthy dinner when you are starving, you prep one food item in advance. The healthy option magically becomes the easy option, requiring absolutely zero willpower.
All right, on to section 4, your daily trigger action. Let's talk about how you can instantly build your own foolproof routine starting this very week.
Here are 3 really simple steps to fundamentally change your approach to health goals. Step 1. Pick one health action, just one small thing. Step 2. Attach it to a daily trigger. It could be brushing your teeth, right after your morning tea, or the exact moment you step out of your car at home. Step 3. Rely on the trigger, not your memory or your motivation. So the crucial point is that the trigger does all the heavy lifting for you. You just need to drink your morning tea and let the system seamlessly carry you into your 10-minute walk. This is huge because you are finally outsourcing your success to your environment rather than your fluctuating motivation.
I want to leave you with this final, provocative thought to chew on. What if your routine was so automatic that your discipline barely even got tested? Just imagine the freedom of reaching your health goals simply by default, propelled by systems rather than punished by willpower. The goal isn't to magically become someone with superhuman discipline. The goal is to design a life where you rarely even have to use it. Take that one action, find your daily trigger, and start building your first unbreakable system today. Thanks so much for joining me on this explainer of our source material, and I'll catch you next time.